All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Think of this as your impartial, quick-hit news briefing for the MSAD 51 Board of Directors meeting that went down on a surprisingly rainy Thursday, June 18, 2026. If you're someone who likes to know exactly what your school board is deciding, where your tax dollars are actually moving, and who's stepping into some really crucial leadership roles, well, you're in the right place. We're going to break down the exact actions the board took to shape the upcoming school year.
Just like a top stories broadcast, we're organizing the board's actions thematically tonight to give you a clear, efficient look at the headlines. We're looking at validating the district budget, reallocating district funds, personnel and student appointments, electing new board leadership, and finally, facilities and future contracts. So, let's get to it. Starting off with Section 1, validating the district budget. The board jumped right into action on this one.
The big news here is that the board unanimously approved the computation and declaration of votes from the June 9th validation referendum. Now, what does that actually mean in plain English? Basically, the board officially entered the public's voting results into the district's permanent records. By certifying those results and sending a certified copy over to the municipal clerks in Cumberland and North Yarmouth, the board literally set the massive district budget into motion for the fiscal year starting July 1st, 2026. This administrative step is the ultimate seal of approval on that long, grueling budget process we've been tracking for months.
Moving right along to Section 2, reallocating district funds. With the big picture budget set for next year, the board had to do a little financial housekeeping for the current fiscal year ending in June 2025.
Now, what's genuinely interesting here is the sheer size of the largest cost center transfer. We're talking $500,000. The board authorized moving $500,000 straight out of special education and directly into facilities maintenance. In the world of district finance, these are called cost center transfers. They basically allow the district to cover end-of-year gaps or shifting needs in specific departments without asking taxpayers for a single extra dime. Pretty handy, right?
They didn't stop there, though. They authorized a few other significant transfers, pulling funds out of regular instruction. They shifted $150,000 to system administration, $130,000 to student and staff support, and exactly $81,524 to debt service. But here is the absolutely crucial thing to note, and the board really stressed this during the meeting. The total approved budget for the year does not increase by a single penny because of these transfers. This is purely an internal rebalancing act just to close out the fiscal year smoothly.
All right, Section 3, personnel and student appointments. Let's pivot from the financial data to the human element. First up on the personnel front, the board officially approved the nomination of Miss Shannon Peterson as the brand new assistant principal at Mabel I. Wilson School and Greeley Middle School 4-5, effective July 1st. And let me tell you, this was a highly competitive spot. There were 39 applicants for this position. That huge group was narrowed down to just 6 for school-based interviews, then 2 finalists at the district level, and Peterson was ultimately the last candidate standing. This brilliantly illustrates her deep roots in the district. Since 2015, Shannon Peterson has been an MSAD 51 math specialist, working directly with students as an interventionist and helping teachers as an instructional coach. And before that, she spent 16 years teaching up north. But the strategic takeaway for us here is that this is actually a transitional role baked into the FY27 budget. Next year, in the 2027-2028 school year, when Mabel I. Wilson reconfigures to house only grades 2 through 4, Peterson is going to transition to be full-time at MIW, working right alongside Principal Carol MacArthur.
The board didn't just focus on staff, though. They also welcomed some fresh student leadership. Grace Till was officially appointed to serve as the new junior student representative for the upcoming school year. This is a big deal. Every year, district sophomores apply for this highly respected spot. If they're selected, they commit to a 2-year term on the board, so they serve first as a junior, then as a senior. While Grace unfortunately couldn't make it to this specific rainy Thursday meeting, the board warmly welcomed her into a role that seriously provides a vital, on-the-ground perspective to all their high-level decision-making.
Moving on to Section 4, electing new board leadership. It's time for the board's own internal changing of the guard.
This is a pretty standard procedure as they head into a new academic year, building a fresh leadership team. Board member Kim Vine was unanimously elected to take over as the chair of the Board of Directors for 2026-2027. And then, immediately following that, Tim Valenti was voted in to serve as the vice chair. These were swift, decisive votes, and it really shows a unified front as this newly organized leadership duo prepares to take the gavel and guide the district's strategic vision over the next 12 months.
And our final section tonight, Section 5, Facilities and Future Contracts. Let's look at what's coming next.
The timeline for the district's highly anticipated energy project is moving fast. The immediate next step this summer? Reaching out to their design team and architects to draft an RFQ, which stands for a request for qualifications. Come July, the board plans to attach a physical facilities walkthrough to their regularly scheduled meeting so they can view these spaces firsthand. By the fall, the goal is to formally send that RFQ out into the wild to begin exploring some major HVAC fixes and energy efficiency upgrades. They'll be starting specifically with the middle school and eventually moving over to the high school. It is an absolutely critical infrastructure step for the district's aging systems. Finally, the public broadcast portion of the June 18th meeting wrapped up as the board formally voted to move into executive session. Now, pursuant to state statute, boards are totally allowed to hold these closed-door sessions for specific legal and personnel reasons. In this particular case, the executive session was called so they could discuss ongoing, sensitive contract negotiations between the MSAD 51 board and the district's custodians.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. As the dust settles on all these major structural, personnel, and financial shifts, we really have to ask, with a fully validated budget, newly elected leadership at the helm, and a massive multi-school energy project officially getting off the ground, how is this board going to navigate the inevitable challenges of the upcoming school year? It's a massive question, and the answer is going to affect literally every student, taxpayer, and staff member in the district. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and as always, keep learning.